Now this video is exciting. Okay, so this is my first video on this channel. To be honest, it's just a bit of a distraction for myself from coronavirus. I'm going to start off by taking the political compass test. As a 20-year-old, I'm kind of expecting to come in the left and liberal section, but I guess we'll see. So, first question. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity interests rather than those of transnational corporations. Yes, strongly agree with that. I'd always put my country, whether it is right or wrong. Strongly disagree. What if you lived in Nazi Germany, for example, or Boris Johnson's UK? No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Yeah, I agree with that. It is foolish to be proud of it. But in a way, I come from Britain, so obviously a very evil history with empires and that kind of thing. But you distract yourself by thinking, oh, it's nice to come from the country where the Beatles come from. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Strongly disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Strongly disagree. You look at Soviet Russia during the Second World War, for example. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Disagree. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Disagree. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. Strongly disagree. Right now you don't get hate crimes in the street because someone's middle class or working class. You get hate crimes in the street because someone's, Chinese, for example, during this COVID-19 outbreak. Though I will admit there is obviously divides between, the ruling classes and the working classes, and I'm not going to deny that at all, but I think people are more divided by nationality. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Disagree. I think if you can control unemployment, then controlling inflation can come with that. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Yes, strongly agree. Look at companies like BP, for example. From each according to ability to each according to his need is fundamentally a good idea. It's a very tough question, isn't it? It's about... I did learn this in school. I think I agree. But I don't fully remember the full implications of the question. I haven't done this test in a long time, so I don't remember all the questions. But yeah, I think I agree with that, but don't scream at me to the 6 people that are going to watch this if I've put something really stupid there. It's a sad reflection in our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. Yes, I agree with that. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. It's a soft agree, but the alternative isn't good either. It's regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society. Yes, strongly agree with that. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. No. I like the European Union, for example. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Strongly disagree. What about looking after your staff, for example? The rich are too highly taxed. Oh, I think I've clicked the wrong answer. Hang on. Oh, it came with... maybe I clicked on it without even realising. But yes, the rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. The rich should be taxed more. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Strongly disagree. Everyone should have the same access to the highest. Government should penalise businesses that mislead the public. Strongly agree. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Yes, strongly agree. The freer the market, the freer the people. Yeah, I agree. To some extent. Now let's take a look at your personal social values. Fun. So, abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. Should be legal. All authority should be questioned. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, of course. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Disagree. And I think that's actually a misunderstood quote anyway. So, taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theatres or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Let me just have a think for a second. I know the answer I want to give, but it's the negatives. Yeah, no, I strongly disagree. I think coming from Britain, even though half the artefacts are stolen from other countries, some of the museums and art galleries are some of the best things about living here, and the fact they're free is absolutely brilliant. And if we became more like America, for example, and you have to pay to go into a museum, I think that would be a real tragedy. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree with that. I know many people have been homeschooled and enjoyed it, but I think the government should have to regulate what people are learning if they are being taught from home. But I don't think people should have to enrol if they don't want to. I mean, there are definitely reasons why people wouldn't want to go to the state schools and etc. I'm not very articulate at the moment. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep them their own kind. That's a strange question. Strongly disagree. People should be able to do what they want, pretty much. Yeah, strongly disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree. If you have to spank your children, if hitting your children is your punishment, that's probably says more about your parenting than it does about your child. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Strongly agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Yeah, I agree with that quite strongly, actually. I don't smoke weed myself, but some of my friends do, and I think it would just be a waste of police time to, caution them or whatever. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generations to find jobs. Disagree. It should be a function, but not necessarily the prime function. People with serious inheritable diseases should not be allowed to reproduce. I strongly disagree. Who is it to say, you can reproduce, you can't reproduce, what's the punishment for it? It's a stupid question. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Not at all. There is no savage and civilized peoples, there are only different cultures. No, I guess there are some savage people, I suppose. That's a strange question. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I wish there was kind of a neither agree nor disagree option. I think this is kind of a base by base or case by case basis. Disagree. But it's a light disagree. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep your mind busy with more cheerful things. I disagree. It's what I do, but that's kind of what me making this video is. But it's definitely not the best thing to do. But it can be in situations like this where you're just inside and have nothing better to do with your life. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I strongly disagree. My mother's a first generation immigrant. Shite. If I could just learn how to press a trackpad, that'd be great. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for us. Strongly disagree in almost every way. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Disagree because I like the BBC, but the BBC is getting progressively worse. So that might be an opinion that could change, because it does kind of show how easily the BBC can be manipulated by politics. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. I agree, but not excessively. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Strongly disagree. There's no advantage to a one-party state. No advantage to a two-party state either. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. That's 1984 stuff. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly disagree. You've killed someone, so we're going to kill you. It doesn't make any sense at all. Also, people confess to crimes they didn't commit, etc. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Strongly disagree. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. No, strongly disagree. Anything's art. Well, sort of. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. No, of course not. I mean, look at reoffending rates in countries that treat punishment and rehabilitation as different things. It's a waste of time to try and rehabilitate some criminals. No, everyone deserves a second chance, no matter what the crime. The business person and the manufacturer, that's maybe not no matter what the crime, but everyone deserves a chance of rehabilitation or getting a qualification. They should just be sat in a room forever like they're Charles Manson. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Well, I'm a musician, so that'd be very hard for me to agree with that at all. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree, of course. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Yes, of course they are. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Strongly disagree. I'm just going to double check I answered a couple of these properly. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Yes, strongly disagree. So I keep getting worried that I'm accidentally going to say I hate gay people or something when I really don't. Astrology accurately explains many things. Strongly disagree. The only thing it explains is how gullible people can be. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. I'm an atheist myself, and I think I'm quite moral. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. No. Sometimes people are naturally unlucky. Ooh. See, my first instinct was to say no, like, 'cause I don't believe in good luck or bad luck. I don't, salute magpies or whatever some people do. But I was just thinking, if you're born with something like, cystic fibrosis or, something like that, that is just bad luck, isn't it? So I agree that people are born poorer or with diseases they couldn't help, but it doesn't mean that people are destined to never be able to, go out with the person they want to go out with, and it's just bad luck. No, of course not. It's important that my child's school insists religious values. Strongly disagree. I don't have a child, but if I did. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Yes, very immoral. No, strongly disagree. Sorry. It's usually immoral. Yes, strongly disagree. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. A same-sex couple obviously should be able to have all the rights of a non-same-sex couple. It's weird that some people would rather have children in foster homes than in a loving family, just because it's two dads or two mums. That's fucking crazy. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal to the adult population. Yeah, I strongly agree. It's basically just a job, isn't it? What goes on in private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Yeah, strongly agree. Of course it's not. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. I think people are naturally, homosexual, bisexual, whatever. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. No, people should basically be able to say what they want. So I'm expecting to come left and libertarian. I do understand that the political compass is not the best way of measuring this kind of thing, but that's what I'd expect, and certainly where I put myself. Is this mine? Ooh, yeah. But yeah, that is pretty much where I was expecting to come. Well, thank you for watching, for the 7 of you that did, and the 2 of you that got to the end. I'm sorry, this is quite a low quality video. I'm just quite bored, really, and was looking to pass the time. But thank you for watching, and I'll maybe see you in the next video if I bother to make one.